that is crazy, all right? He hasn't eaten. He's probably mentally exhausted. He's physically exhausted, of course. He's starving. He's probably craving some of Mary's apple pie. And this is when Satan chooses to strike. This is oftentimes when Satan chooses to strike us, when we're weak, when we're down and not in our prime. All right, guys. And Satan really isn't tempting Jesus to sin here. All right, he's just telling him, man, look at this. You can satisfy your hunger right now. You can just turn this to bread. It'll all be okay. But if Jesus had done this, Satan's really using a subtle attack on God's plan right now. He's telling Jesus, listen, man, you got the power. You can do this. He could easily have satisfied his hunger, but if he had stooped to satisfying his hunger by his own divine power, how could he have resisted saving himself when he was on the cross? That would have it's a little attack by Satan, and the whole plan could have been unraveled. But Jesus does the smart thing right here, and he responds with Scripture. All right, he uses Scripture to combat temptation. It's a good plan. Okay, and on the first one. All right, now moving on to the second. Satan has failed in his food attack, so he's moving on to some bigger guns, guys. All right. Then the devil led Jesus up to a high place. In an instant, he showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. He said to him, I will give you all the authority and the glory. It has been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want. So if you worship me, it will all be yours. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that Satan actually is kind of, it's a half lie, all right? I mean, half truth, half lie. It's one of Satan's tools as well. He uses that to tempt us, feeding us a little bit of truth. The rest of it's a lie. And we can go on the truth. He doesn't really. But the second temptation category is the lust of the eyes. This is a really common one, especially for guys, the lust of the eyes. And we struggle with it all the time. Okay? Satan he's telling Jesus he can give him a way to bring help to the hurting, healing to the sick, whatever his original mission was, or whatever his mission will be. He's giving him a way to do this without having to go through the cross. All right. Now, that's way more tempting than I thought it was at first. I mean, at first look, I was like, Jesus isn't going to worship Satan. He's already do all that stuff anyway. But Satan's not even asking Jesus to worship him religiously. He's not asking him to bow for a while. He's asking him one quick bow, just one movement, and he could have done the mission, right? But that wasn't God's plan, and Jesus knew that. So, again, Jesus retorts with Scripture. He says, sorry, I don't know what he says. Jesus says, it is written, worship the Lord your God only. He is the only one you should serve. Alright? Now, I thought Jesus really had no idea what I was going through. He'd been tempted by all this ludicrous thing. But what I found out in reading this is that Jesus was as human as we are right now. And he knows exactly what you're being tempted with, what you're struggling with right now. He knows, and more than anything, he just wants you to rely on him in this time of temptation. Alright? I'm going to move on to the third temptation right now. Okay. Then the devil led Jesus into Jerusalem. He had him stand on the highest point of the temple, and he said, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. It is written, the Lord will command his angels to to take good care of you. They will lift you up with their hands, and you won't trip over a stone. Jesus answered, Scripture says, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And when Satan had finished with all of this tempting, he left Jesus until a better time. Alright guys, now the third temptation category is the boastful pride of life. You see here at vegetables. Alright. Okay, the first one was lust of the flesh. Second one, lust of the eyes. Third one was pride of the. You wrote this down? Pride. I'm just getting you back right now. But Satan is tempting Jesus here with actually two different things I found. The first being that the Jews actually in this time expected the Messiah to miraculously appear on top of this temple. Alright? If Jesus had flung himself off, he would have been saved. And there would have been immediate acknowledgement by the Jewish people that he was the Messiah. But it would have been feeding into their delusions. And they were looking for a political leader. And Jesus wasn't, it's not what Jesus was about. Alright? Also, that, I forgot what it also was. Being sure, okay? I read several different commentaries, two of which said this, and I thought that was, this is something we struggle with. We have to be sure that God's behind us in all this. If Jesus would have thrown himself off, he would have been saved. He would have, it would have proven that God was in this with him. He would have been able to do his mission. But again, it's not how God wanted it to be. And Jesus knew that. But this time, Satan actually throws some scripture this way. He tries to trap Jesus, and Jesus, of course, doesn't remember the scripture. Satan actually, he knows the Bible better than we do. Okay? He knows it better than we do. And he knows how to get us. Alright, and I thought in seeing this, why would Jesus want to jump off? This isn't a temptation. Jesus has no idea what I'm going through. Guys, listen, if there's one thing that you get out from me rambling up here, it's that Jesus knows exactly what you've been tempted with. Alright, he knows how hard it is. He was tempted just as much, if not more so, than any of us here. Alright? He knows just what you're going through. And he is always going to be there for you, no matter what. Alright? He's just waiting on you to call on him. Get me out of this mess, God. I messed up. Okay, I've called that out so many times, and each time, guys, I've not been disappointed. Alright? Let me tell you, I have not been disappointed when I call to God. Basically, this is what I want to leave you guys with before Tyler comes up and just smooth down what I've roughed up. Guys, I just really want all of you to know. I don't know what you guys are tempted with. I don't know what you guys are struggling with. But Jesus is up there right now. He's praying for all of you. Alright? And he's just waiting for you guys to call on him. He's not going to lay you down. Alright? Pineapple.